What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and you've got to watch this video. I think sometimes you just need it to see straight up like this. And I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine about what's coming. I mean, what we're going through right now is bad, but what? And let's play the video first, and then I'll continue trying to explain, because right now I'm tongue tied trying to explain all this. But okay, so I'll set the stage real quick. But the inflationary pressures that we're feeling right now, and that have happened since the central bank of the Federal Reserve was instituted, has led to a devaluation of our currency. And so the money we have is worth nothing. It's completely garbage. And I think this video just goes to show of how garbage fiat is.
Anybody want their day ruined? Yesterday I posted a stitch with Tom Powell Jr. about his landlord take, which has been a pretty hot topic in TikTok here over the past week. And in it, I stated that I make $70,000 a year and I am still very much paycheck to paycheck, and housing is rough. In the comments of my own video, as well as just seeing it around TikTok as a whole, a lot of people are saying pretty much the same thing. I've seen people that are making six figures with no kids that are still living paycheck to paycheck. And it really got me thinking, why are we having such a hard time? You know, growing up, six figures is like, you made it. You know, you're rich. You can buy whatever you want, whenever you want. You're never gonna run out of money if you make six figures. So I decided to do a little bit of research. According to FDRlibrary.org, the worst year of the Great Depression was 1933, with 25% of the nation's workforce being unemployed. So for those that were working in 1933, what was their salary? According to the IRS, it was about $4,200. Yikes. Now, what was their salary? According to the IRS.
So for all returns, and 4,200 for taxable returns.
It was about $4,200. Yikes. Now, let's not forget that 1933 was 90 years ago. And we all know that inflation's a thing, especially in 2023. So let's see what $4,218 looks like in today's money. As you can see here, I pulled up an inflation calculator, and full disclosure, obviously the entirety of 2023 is not available yet, as we are only halfway through the year, so I couldn't get an average for 2023, so I went with an average for 2022. Now, this is the part that's going to ruin your day. It's so bad, I almost want to do a trigger warning. In order to be making an average amount that is on par with what the average American was making in the lowest depths of the Great Depression, in the year 2022, you would need to be making $95,000. Inflation of over 2,000%. The reason that nobody can afford to buy anything is because we are literally making less than the people were making when this country was at its lowest economic point in history. If you took somebody from 1933 and you placed them in 2023 making the same rate adjusted for inflation, they would be making $25,000 more than I do with a bachelor's in engineering in a highly skilled trade field. But all we have to do is pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and get out of our own way, right?
So, there's probably a few things there that I'm sure there's nuances to this conversation. But to make a general point, a lot of people are feeling the crunch. And now this kind of puts it into perspective as to why. Now, that figure that he pulled out, obviously there's, a quarter of the workforce was not there or did not have a job, sorry. But also, those figures as far as like average income, I would have to check in on that. But just to put into perspective, if that is the case of that being the average taxable income during the depths of the Great Depression. That's some pretty crazy stuff to think about. And so that's why a lot of people right now can barely afford to live. They're making it by, thread of a string. So, anyways, I thought you guys would enjoy that. Now, check out this other video where it says 11 million Canadians are eligible for a grocery rebate. About 1 week of groceries if your income is under $38,000. 38 million people live in Canada, so about 30% of Canadians live in poverty. So that's interesting. Makes you kind of think, huh? A lot of people are living below that poverty line. They've thrust all of the world into this poverty-stricken environment. They don't even realize it because they have bread and circuses. They're on their phones watching entertainment. They're distracted by everything and not realizing what they're living in. And you're able to access food at used to be inexpensive prices, but you can see everything going up. But they've just been content living the way they live. And by the time they realize what's happened, it's going to be too late. And it's already well underway. There's obviously lots of conversation about UBI. So you got to think about those things. And remember, here's another tweet. It says, reminder, all the Fed officials who caused this crisis have left. Only power remains. And now Bullard stepping down in August. It says Fed officials did the same thing in August of 2008. So we're repeating history, folks. Here is a notice to users in France from Rumble. Because the French government demands to remove creators from our platform, Rumble is currently unavailable in France. We're challenging these government demands and hope to restore access soon. And so if you have not seen what's going on in France, it's almost like a revolution. It's chaotic. And now they're censoring and not allowing people to access online. And so it's a flip of a switch and they take you out of being able to participate. And so that's the dangers of CBDC. They can flip off your money and you won't be able to participate unless you go along with the narrative and don't criticize it. This is an interesting perspective. The UN is reporting that 122 million more people have been pushed into hunger since 2019 due largely to the global reaction or misreaction to the pandemic. The advice of scientists who kept their cool should have been listened to. It didn't have to be this way. So here, this chart tells you everything you need to know. This is the wave of the pandemic, but there's that larger second wave looming. That's a famine. When you take out Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, when you take out the Netherlands and all their farming, which they're the largest, if not the second largest exporter of vegetation. Once you take them out, what's left? And especially if you're trying to get rid of fertilizer, there is a large famine looming. And so with something like this, folks, people don't realize that. Yeah, sure, you can make all the money you want, but you can't eat money. If there's not any tangible goods, then what good does it do you to have all that fiat currency? It doesn't. So with all this, I hope this has been useful information. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.